Hello and welcome to Managing Your Leadership Strengths. My name is Deb Dennis and I'll be presenting today. I'd like to thank you for listening and learning. It's just one more demonstration of how committed you are to being the best leader you can be. You know, taking your leadership strengths to the next level, that's what this webinar is all about. It's about tools for you to use in life and work and in your upcoming coaching. Tools to help make you the best leader you can be. Our one goal for today is to provide you with a foundation in the LIFO Strengths approach and the coaching process to set you up for a successful experience. In the next 15 minutes, you'll be introduced to the following concepts: Coaches Without Borders, LIFO Overview and Fundamentals, 4 strategies for balancing your strengths, and taking the next steps to get the most out of your coaching experience. First, we take a look at Coaches Without Borders. The mission of Coaches Without Borders is to bring the power of coaching to the world, to support leaders like you who do amazing work every day and without a lot of resources. Our mission is to make a difference in the world one person at a time. On behalf of the coaches, let me tell you that we are really looking forward to working together. What is coaching? Coaching is a partnership between a coach and a client in a thought-provoking and creative process that inspires them to maximize their personal and professional potential. It's not training, it's not mentoring, and it's not managing. Think of it this way. Just like you have a coach in football to guide you as you develop your skills, your coach is dedicated to helping you perform your best. Working confidentially and one-on-one, your coach will assist you as you focus on one specific goal. Now let's take a look at this tool we call LIFO. You know, a football coach helps to identify each player's strength and to use that strength to match him or her to the position on the team. Of course, each player still works on the fundamentals, and so does the business professional. LIFO, or Life Orientations, is a strengths survey with strategies to help you keep your strengths in balance, learning to leverage the right strength at the right time. If this sounds good, keep listening, because in this webinar, you'll find out how to recognize what's most important to other people and how to translate requests, proposals, and instructions so that they will hear, understand, and act on them. The only question now is, how will you use LIFO? There are several fundamental concepts. Let's take a look at them. First, LIFO allows us to focus on how we use our strengths in 2 different conditions. When things are going well, they're favorable conditions. But when things are stressful, as they often are in the business world these days, we call those unfavorable conditions. LIFO divides behavioral strengths into these 4 categories. Let's take a look at them. This is a good time to have your LIFO Strengths report handy. First, let's look at supporting giving. This reflective and people-oriented style is about working hard to reach higher levels and excellence. This person sets the bar high and has high expectation of themselves as well as others. Adapting dealing is an interactive people style. This strength is all about relationships and maintaining harmony between people. The conserving holding style is a reflective, task-oriented, and cerebral style, using the strength of logic and reason. Controlling taking is also task-oriented like conserving holding and action-oriented like adapting dealing. This strength takes action to the next level. It's all about intense effort and quick action. This style gets it done and quickly. Which is your most preferred style? As we review each of these in more depth, think about your own strengths. In particular, when we review a strength that has a lower ranking for you, pay attention to the adjectives that describe it. These are things you may want to add more of to your repertoire. Let's look at supporting giving. Supporting giving is reflective, like conserving holding, and people-oriented, like adapting dealing. Supporting giving relationships are formal, recognizing hierarchy, respect, seeking and expecting excellence in the self and others. The philosophy of this style is, if I prove my worth by working hard and pursuing excellence, I will be able to realize my goals. Adapting dealing is also active, like controlling taking, and people-oriented, like supporting giving. But adapting dealing relationships are more informal, with an aim toward getting along and creating harmony among people. This is about balance. The philosophy of the adapting dealing strength is, if I am aware of other people and fill their needs first, then I can get my needs filled. Controlling taking is action and task oriented. This person is all about getting the job done. Their philosophy: if I can get results by being competent and seizing the opportunity, what I desire will be there for the taking. The conserving holding strength is reflective, contemplative, focused on the details of a task. This is the person who likes to try things out, to sample or pilot before making a full commitment. This is the behavior guided by logic and reason. Their philosophy: if I think before I act and make the most of what I've got, I can build up resources to accomplish my goals. Now it's time for some activity. Choose a colleague and write their initials on a piece of paper, and let's see if you can guess their LIFO most preferred style. Consider making this a person you know well, someone you're comfortable with and trust, so you can check with them after you've guessed. To help you with this, look at the 4 styles and feel free to pause the slide here. Now that you have that person in mind, let's see how we can use the LIFO strategies. LIFO uses 4 strategies to help us keep our strengths in balance. Confirming your most preferred strengths is about understanding and appreciating your styles and strengths. Moderating your excesses is when we try to avoid overusing our most preferred strengths. Extending your least preferred strengths is about using more of the strengths and the perspectives of your least preferred styles. Bridging is about matching your message to others' preferred ways of communicating. Your personalized LIFO report covers the first 3, and in this webinar, we'll cover the 4th. The bottom line with strengths management is to stay in the productive zone. I like this visual because it helps me remember that I want to stay in the sweet spot, but every once in a while I go a little overboard, or sometimes I need to do a little bit more to have the most optimal performance in my behavior. So when I use a strength too much, sometimes I need to turn it down, do a little bit less. That's the moderate strategy. Sometimes we need to pull on a strength a little bit more, something you don't use as often. In this case, you use the extend strategy. It's a great visual. Now let's take a look at a rule. How about the golden rule? Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. I'll bet many of you have spent decades putting this golden rule to good use and being reminded of it by parents, family, and teachers. I know I have. Well, in communicating your message to others, LIFO offers another rule. The platinum rule. Think of this as personalizing your style to the other person, and that means an update to the golden rule. This is the LIFO strategy for bridging. Speak unto others with their most preferred style in mind. Let's talk about the LIFO strategy of bridging. Bridging is about the process of explaining your goal in a way that someone else will understand so you can get things done. It's a 2-step process to bridging any communication gap. Recognize and translate. So imagine an upcoming opportunity that you'll have to speak with the person you identified earlier. Decide what you want to accomplish in this conversation and write it down. What is your goal? What is the desired outcome? Take a moment to pause the recording and write it down. In the next few minutes, we'll focus on recognizing their preferred style by looking at what they say, do, write, and ask. Next, we'll translate your message and bridge to their style. A little planning will help to ensure your message gets through and that you get action toward what you want to accomplish. We want you to get results. Take a minute to read through the characteristics of each style on this slide. It's pretty busy. Check your hypothesis. Do these characteristics support the preferred style of the person you identified earlier? Think about what's important to this person and write down any ideas that will help you craft your message. Pause the recording here to give yourself time to read through and consider. Now that we recognize the person's likely preferred style, let's take the next step to translate your message. In translating, there are several key questions that this person would like answers to. Think about your boss's style. What is it that the boss is looking for? What does he or she want to know? Think about a client you're working with. What kind of information is that client looking for from you? What kinds of questions would that client like answered? Think about the person whose initials you've written down. What will help them tune in, buy in? Pause the recording here to give yourself time to read through and consider. Some other things to consider as you translate a message. This slide has several do's and don'ts. It lists them by style. It's what each style likes and dislikes. What will help them tune in to your message, and what you should avoid so they don't tune out. Think about a colleague with untapped potential, for example. This person could be doing so much more than they are. How will you help them reach their potential? How do they like to work? What kind of an environment do you want to create? Pause the recording here to give yourself a chance to read through and consider. Well, we've introduced Coaches Without Borders, provided a definition of coaching, reviewed the LIFO method and strength strategies available to you in this program. Are you still tuned in? Good. Now, let's talk about why you're engaging in the program. Let's talk about your coaching experience. Making the commitment is just one aspect of leadership, and the LIFO method is just one of many tools available to you for building your own leadership competency. With this slide, I'd like to take a moment to focus on what I call the 3 facets of leadership. Each is supported by the LIFO method. The first step to strong leadership is self-awareness and management of your own strengths. It's important to first know your style and how to manage your own strengths for maximum effectiveness. Self-awareness is the foundation of a great leader. Second, a good leader uses the platinum rule for interpersonal communications. We're always talking about influence and persuasion, right? Well, this is how you make it happen. First, we recognize others' preferences through what they say, write, and do, and then we translate our key messages so that they are communicated to the other person with their style in mind. Finally, great leaders are skilled at bridging multiple styles to harness the power of collaboration. With LIFO, we can do all of these things even better. Our practice has shown the importance of focusing on just one goal. With this in mind, you'll establish your goal for coaching and, working with your coach, put a laser focus to that one behavioral goal. The goal for a 6-session coaching must be very specific and will be focused on your strengths and how you manage them. You'll work with your coach to narrow down SMART measures for your goals. Measures of success are set in the beginning and celebrated at the end. We measure our success too, and we'll ask you for feedback as we go through. So what's next? You have a personalized report describing your own strengths, and you've almost completed this webinar. You'll attend the kickoff meeting, and then coaching begins. You'll meet with your coach via Skype for 6 one-hour meetings. You'll begin discussion of your strengths based on your LIFO report and establish your goal for coaching, defining SMART measures for success. You'll jointly agree on field work as recommended by your coach in between each meeting. And we'll ask you to complete a midpoint evaluation after your 3rd coaching session. Keep working with your coach and toward your goals, and at the end, you'll reflect on your progress and then establish a plan with your coach to maintain your progress independently. At the end, we have a wrap-up session. We'll ask for some feedback, and we'll provide a certificate of participation and accomplishment, which we hope you'll display proudly. Thanks so much for being here today, and I hope you found this to be a good use of your time. Are you thinking about your goal for coaching? I hope so. I'm really excited to be welcoming you to the coaching experience. And I won't kid you, coaching is hard work. But as with most things in life, you get out of it what you put into it. We commend each and every one of you for your willingness to do that hard work. And remember, you are worth it. Congratulations on committing to be the best leader you can be. And thank you.